When I say to you the word Escort, and I don't mean that you find at 2 a.m. in the morning on a street corner, I mean the Ford Escort. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it rally? Is it touring? Is it the famous RS2000 or the 1600 Sport? Or alternatively, is it the Ford Escort Mexico, the car that put the Escort on the map? You may know the name, but do you know the story?
2 doors or 4 doors, drive a Ford Escort. Again, Ford leads the way.
The Ford Escort, one of Britain's most loved and respected saloon cars of all time. First hitting the streets of Blighty in 1968, it quickly became a cult icon due to its mass affordability and fantastic driving characteristics for the everyday man. It's no surprise then that the Escort became a huge success in the world of motorsport, regardless of the discipline it was entered into. And that brings us on to this, the Ford Escort Mexico, the pinnacle of the Escort sport line. It is arguably one of the most recognisable Ford shapes to ever leave the hands of the Ford AVO team, and one that captured the hearts and minds of car enthusiasts throughout the world. It was pretty quick for its time too, bearing a 1600 Kent engine producing a rather respectable 86 brake horsepower for the era with a top speed of 99 miles per hour. Combined with a 4-speed manual gearbox, it was quick. Let's not get started on the looks and interior of this car. It's no wonder that the Escort Mexico fetches such high prices with its legendary status. The Mexico even came with a strengthened body shell and servo-assisted braking with front discs. Very rare for a car of its time. In fact, you can almost hear Ronnie Corbett praise its road handling just by looking at it. But it's not the original Mexico. This is London, 19th of April 1970. The start of the London to Mexico rally is underway at Wembley Stadium, with works escorts lining up and driving off the start line through the streets of London, signifying the start of their 16,000-mile journey to Mexico. Their journey would take them across countless countries: France, Germany, Austria, Serbia, Bulgaria, Italy, Brazil, Argentina, Spain, Peru, Colombia. The list goes on, testing both the cars and the drivers to the absolute limit, and even sometimes to breaking point. It really was a completely monumental task.
It's absolutely incredible to think that this car, this diddy little Escort, covered over 16,000 miles. 16,000! It's incredible!
And make no mistake, 16,000 miles even in a car designed for the task was no easy feat to accomplish. They had to battle through snow, ice, rain, blistering heat, sand and mud. Everything you could possibly think of, and unfortunately not everyone made it through. French driver Henri Malon died 2 days before the end of the rally. A stark reminder of the challenges that they faced.
It's absolutely incredible to think that this car just conquered everything that was thrown at it. Rain, hot sunshine, sand, rock, dirt, everything you can think of. They battled against it all.
So, onward they went. Hannu Mikkola and Gunnar Palm relentlessly pressed forward with their attack, charging in and carving the road, making the most of the Escort's reliability, ruggedness and outright performance to boost their lead for the finish line. The car wasn't the only force at play though. Hannu Mikkola's driving was unmatched. Across deserts, valleys, mountain ranges and broken roads, they overcame it all, leading to their ultimate arrival in Mexico, finalising the end of their incredible journey.
Ultimately, it was Hannu Mikkola in the Ford Escort that took victory in the 1970 London to Mexico rally, solidifying the Escort as one of the most iconic rally cars of all time. For the time, this car was so advanced. It had an 1830cc 4-cylinder engine producing around 140 brake horsepower. It even had magnesium alloy wheels in 1970.
But it's not just the rally that makes this car so special. It's what it represents. It signifies the start of a cultural icon that would forever redefine the landscape of the motoring world. A car that would be loved and cherished by so many in the car community even to this day. The Escort's handling, reliability, strength and driving characteristics makes it a pleasure to drive, and that was only solidified by the incredible man that was Hannu Mikkola.
The Mark 1 was so successful that 25 years later in 1995 they reran the exact same rally with a very, very similar spec car with Hannu Mikkola at the wheel again and claimed victory 25 years later. It's just a testament to how good the Mark 1 Escort was for its time.
Admittedly, being around this car also did have quite the effect on me, mainly because of my love for the Mark 1 and Mark 2 Escorts.
For me, this is actually quite a special moment because not only is this the car that spawned the famous Escort Mexico, it's also the original Escort. Everything after that, the Mark 2, the Mark 3s, all of that famous racing pedigree came from this car. It is the Escort rally car, the original. And I think it's that makes it so special to me, because admittedly, my affection is slightly more towards the Mark IIs, as I've owned one myself as my first car. But this is it. This is the car. I mean, just look, magnesium wheels in 1970. Magnesium. This. I mean, come on. What an interior. I mean, it is just so minimalist, but also incredibly well prepared for such an event like 16,000 miles in one of these cars. Fun little bit of information that you may like from this. Windows are quite literally plastic. Now you could do it like that and make them come down. Or alternatively, if you come round here, there's this ingenious little device that you can pull up and down with. If you need to suddenly get in. It's just, my point is that they've just designed this car practically. It's incredibly well thought out. This doesn't have one fuel tank, not two fuel tanks, 3 fuel tanks. There is 1, 2, and then a third one here, a third filler cap. Let's not get started on the look of the car. It's already incredible. But if we open up here, you can see, look at that. I mean, it's just, and the amount of weight that it must have had over the rear axle. It's no surprise that they uprated it from the original sort of independent motorsport axle. Absolutely incredible. To be honest with you all, I'm a little bit dumbfounded because it's not every day that you get to go around a collection such as this, and I'm sure you've already seen the video of the entire collection of us walking around. It's absolutely incredible to get this opportunity, let alone a car that has become so iconic for being the first Mexico, so to speak. Inside, I know we've been around the other side, driving position. Look at that lovely interior. And what's even more special, in my opinion at least, is Hannu Mikkola has been in that seat. It has driven 16,000 miles in there. And it's just absolutely outstanding that it's in this sort of condition. I mean, this is quite a moment for me because they have said I'm allowed to get into this, but the cloth seats of the 70s is certainly something that you don't forget anytime soon. They're actually really comfortable, surprisingly. I suppose they'd have to be for something that's going to cover 16,000 miles. In fact, you can tell how much this car has been driven hard because the wheel isn't actually circle. It's oblong. Spherical. Is it spherical? No, what's the correct one? It is oblong, isn't it? I think. But you can tell that it's been wrestled with quite considerably. Man, it's incredible. For me, this is kind of dream Ford fan situation at the moment because, I'll keep that there. It's just the experience of being able to be around this car, especially on the occasion of, unfortunately he's no longer with us, to be able to you know, experience this car and be so up close and personal with really important bits of history is quite spectacular. Actually, another thing that we need to do, check the engine. So naturally, the car is currently running an 1830cc engine. Oh, why am I even looking under there? It's got bonnet pins. Where's that lovely bonnet pin? Is that it? There we go. Oh man. What a car. Man, oh man. 140 brake horsepower. Clearly very well maintained considering its age and its importance. It's got Weber carbs on it. Wow. Man, oh man. What size are these? They've got to be 40s, surely. Yeah, they are 40 DCOE. Man, oh man, it's just what an experience to kind of, and to be able to share this with you, because I know this is a car that many of you may actually not know about and its importance. So to share that with our audience and you watching is absolutely brilliant. As well as the fact that it was Hannu Mikkola, who is sadly no longer with us and passed away in February of 2021. He was the one that drove this to victory across 16,000 miles against such harsh conditions and solidified the Escort as one of the most famous racing cars of all time. That is what makes this so special.
Thank you to the lovely people at Ford UK for allowing us to come and spend some well-loved time with their fantastic collection. We hope to be back soon for more. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. And a big thank you to each and every one of you who has supported us on our journey so far. Without you, bringing stories such as these to the car lovers of the world just wouldn't be possible.